Hey everybody, my name is Nazivela Kamganamaya, but welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm really excited, guys, to be bringing you yet another topic. Let me just say this. Most of the content that I actually cover on this channel, it is inspired by you guys. Some of the questions that you ask me on Messenger, on DM, I come forward with them because I know that all that we discuss and we engage on, there is someone out there that may benefit from it. But I want to really assure you that not at any point will I ever disclose someone's identity. Never, ever, ever. Because I know what it's like to fear that your family or your close friends or your circle may know about your status before you actually have an opportunity to tell them. So everything that I do is mostly from an educational point of view, and never ever to expose someone. So you can really rest assured on that. So today I want to cover a situation where you have sexual intercourse with someone, and in between that the condom breaks, and what do you do next? So ideally you want to find yourself in a situation where you both know each other's statuses. So let's say you meet someone, you like them, and you like to pursue a relationship with them, and in between the conversations it actually comes up, before this gets any further, I would like you to come with me to the local clinic or to the doctor for us to do an HIV test. And it actually helps because it allows you the opportunity to decide where you want to take this relationship, right? Whether it comes with a positive HIV status or a negative HIV status, but having the ability to choose for yourself, okay, under these circumstances, I would still like to pursue this relationship or not, right? There's nothing as tragic as finding out, like, down the line after you've had unprotected sex with someone, that they're actually HIV positive and they intentionally infected you. They didn't tell you about their status. But there are people that have come to me and said, Nazi, I would definitely like for me and my partner to have like a couples test, and to go together to a doctor and have an HIV test. But it's not easy to bring about that conversation. How do you bring about that conversation, and when do you do that? So I know it's difficult. Some people have like really got offended, like when you bring it up that you want to have an HIV test, and they're like, do you think I'm HIV positive? And I mean, you heard it from Andy Siwa's story, right? But I believe in this day and era, I don't understand why anyone would be offended by that, because we know the times that we live in. So, but from experience, how I've come about to really, talk about uncomfortable issues, I just don't take them serious, so that I diffuse this whole thing about, okay, this is really awkward, this is really uncomfortable. So for example, one of the things that I may suggest is, when you're starting a new relationship and you are sleeping at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning, talking all sorts of shit, talking about, okay, when would you ideally like to get married? And I don't think like this is a relationship that has been going on for quite some time, only a few weeks, and you're already talking about, okay, so when do you think you like to get married? How many children ideally would you like? What city would you like to settle in? In between that, also talk about HIV testing, right? So one of the things that you may say is, I just realized that I'm due for my annual HIV checkup or my annual checkup. I would love for you to come with me, so that as we pursuing this relationship further, I would like us to do a couple's HIV test together and take it from there. How informal and casual approach, it really helps, so that it diffuses the formality around the issue. So there are people that are going to say again, no, I don't have time, I work odd shifts, we never have time to go for an HIV test. I have a solution. Okay, so the other day I went to Discam and I went to buy this By Shore. Is it By Shore? Anyway, it's By Shore HIV self-test. I hope you can see it. I got it from Discam for 200 rand. So activists and clinicians have really been advising that if you don't have time, or there is obviously a stigma around going to a local clinic, a government clinic, particularly when it comes to going and testing for HIV. So they do advise that you can actually use the home test, but the only thing that they sometimes fear is that they you don't get the opportunity to do that counseling session. Before you test for HIV, there's a session where before you get your results, you get counseled. But okay, in a situation where you get a positive HIV status, what would you do? And then what does it mean for you? And then post that, you get another counseling session, however way your test becomes. So this one, there is no nurse or social worker that is going to do that for you. But however, what I like from the package is that it does, at least when you read it, give you that sort of, oh, okay, however way this thing comes out, it will be okay, because it says, HIV is a treatable condition. Once you know your status, with correct and early treatment, you can protect your own and your partner's health. So I wanted to do this test with you guys so that you know how you do it. I'm not keen really, because I don't want to get pricked because you know how dramatic I can be. So it comes up like this, and then it was 200 Rand, as I said, from Discam. So okay, hang on a second while I figure out how to do this. So guys, I just opened my package, and what I like about it is that there's a step-by-step, process on how to do it. So you don't have to be confused in terms of how do you do it, or like what you should be looking out for. It tells you step by step. So guys, there's a little cover like this that is supposed to assist you in terms of doing the pricking. So it says I must put the laceant down until it clicks and then squeeze. Okay, so I'm gonna, shit. Okay, so I did it. I just pushed it down, guys. So now I'm just supposed to squeeze, and then it comes also with this. So they asked me to basically take that on top of the blood. It's supposed to automatically feel. It has. There you go. Okay, so now I'm going to put that drop of blood into this. Okay, so now it says I must wait a couple of minutes before I can see my results. 1 line means that I'm HIV negative. 2 lines that means that I am HIV positive. Or if there's 1 strong line and a 1 tiny one that is quite faded, it is a possibility that you're HIV positive. Or if you don't see any line, that means that the test did not work. So now I'm going to share my results. It's only been like a couple of minutes, probably 2 minutes. So my one is a very strong line and one that's quite faded, meaning that I am HIV positive. So it says easy as that. It is quite daunting, I understand, but it's one of those things that they have to be done so that you are aware of your HIV status. So if you are afraid or there's a stigma around you going to the local clinic or to the doctor, this is another option that you can you can choose. Now, as I said, this is a more perfect scenario where you both agree that you want to do an HIV test, and you either go to a doctor or you do the home HIV test. Now, there is another scenario where, let's say you meet someone at the club, and you don't necessarily want a relationship with them. You just kind of like them, and you just want to hang. I've seen this in clubs. I've gone to the club once, and let me quickly tell you about my club experience. So it was a couple of girlfriends and I, and some of them were celebrating their birthdays. So we decided, okay, let's do something special. So we went to a spa, and then we went dinner, and then there was a suggestion that you should now go to a club, right? First of all, I don't drink. And then I didn't think it was a good idea from the word go, because I don't necessarily like places that are loud. I don't really have a problem with the clubs. It's just that they're too loud for me, right? And I get very annoyed when I get to a place where I can't hear myself, and then I'm supposed to be the loud person, okay? So anyway, we walk up into a local club in Port Elizabeth, Cubana, and the first thing I'm like, okay, this is not gonna go down well. So anyway, we're supposed to be there for like an hour or so, right? So probably arrived there around about past 9 to 10, right? So guys, we stay, okay? We stay, and I think it was only a couple of us. It was me, I think it was 3 of us that had transport, right? And I think we were also transporting others. I can't remember. Anyways, but in any case, you can't just leave and without everyone leaving. So anyway, now it's like 12, it's like 1 a.m. in the morning, 2 a.m. in the morning. I am sleepy, okay? I am sleepy, and I'm really not having a good time because, as I said, this is not really my scene, right? So anyway, I decide to go now and sleep in the car. I decided to go and sleep in the car while my friends are out partying. And so from that experience, I kind of observed in terms of what the vibe is, you know, in the club. You meet someone, you're like, hey, you know, you don't necessarily, you know them or anything like that. You just want to, you know, have an encounter with them. So in that instant, let's say you're both drunk or you're in the heat of the moment, you're not gonna say, oh, wait a minute, can I just like perform a quick HIV test, you know, a home kit HIV test. And that really doesn't necessarily happen. In such a case, and they have sex, right? Good enough, they have sex with a condom. But I'm not sure, guys, because this has never happened to me. And I'm not sure whether it's because of the friction, you know, when you're having sex, or it's because the condom was too tight, but the condom breaks. And in such an instance, you don't know your HIV status. And then you both don't know each other's HIV status. Or even if you don't meet someone at the club, you're in a new relationship, but you haven't gotten around to go for an HIV test. Now you're having, you know, sex, and you think a condom is enough to protect you, but then it breaks. What do you do? I know from experience, when I have had unprotected sex, the first thing you think about is, I do not want to get pregnant. That's the first thing people think about. So what you do the following day, you go to the clinic and you go and get a morning after pill, and that's supposed to protect you from getting pregnant. You take that within 72 hours of the encounter, and that's supposed to, you know, prevent you from getting pregnant. But what about STIs? What about HIV? Because now you do not know this person's status. So that's what I wanted to talk about. If you ever find yourself in a situation where the condom breaks while you're having sex with someone and you do not know their HIV status, please, within 72 hours, make sure that you visit a doctor. You visit a doctor where the doctor will prescribe PEP. PEP is post-exposure prophylaxis. It is prescribed to people that have been potentially exposed to HIV. So you take it within 72 hours, the sooner the better, and you take it for about 28 to 30 days. After 30 days, then you go and test for HIV. I just said now you go to a local doctor. The reason I say that is because unfortunately, PEP is not readily available to our local government clinics. It's only available to our clinics to people that have been, you know, raped, sexual assault. That's how they prioritize it. But in a case where you don't have medical aid, you can still go to a local doctor, pay that 400 rand, 300 rand, so that he can prescribe PEP for you, and then you can take it for that period. Now it is really effective, 99.9% effective, that it protects you from getting infected within that period. So the only thing is that do not rely on it. You can't use PEP all the time, Galok. Every time you have an encounter, you must go to the doctor and get PEP, because at some point it's not going to be effective. So if you know that you are someone that is, you know, going around and having these encounters and having these situations, I will advise you to rather consider PrEP. So PrEP is pre-exposure prophylaxis. Now guys, I would even go to say in relationships in this day and age, because you meet someone, you test in the beginning of the relationship, or maybe test every year or every 2 years, but in between that period someone has, you know, an affair, or they have that one encounter, they get infected. Now we're in the process to get infected, but in that time you're thinking to yourself, no, I know the HIV status, and we use a condom, so I could be safe. In such an instant where a condom breaks, what do you do? Yeah, so as an additional protective measure, I would actually recommend that people get on a PrEP, a pre-exposure prophylaxis. And as I've mentioned, if you don't have medical aid, going into local clinics, you know, government clinics, it may be difficult to get these things because of limited resources. They have to prioritize, you know, who gets it. In this case, PEP, as I've said, only people that have been sexually assaulted through rape and all of those things. But if you do have the resources, I really recommend it. So I hope you did enjoy this video, and I hope you did learn something. But most importantly, those home tests are really a savior. In the comfort of your home, you can do an HIV test. Only 200 rand from Discount. So until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching.